Wayne, we're not doing an interview with you tonight.
We
appreciate you coming to Conroe.
Thank you.
Wish you'd go back to Harris County where you belong. So you have a good evening.
Public officials, they'll never learn. Telling a guy like me to leave town makes me want to stay around for a long time. And I thought the mayor of Conroe, Coon, kind of liked me.
I'm not giving you an interview. We love you to death, but I appreciate what you do, Wayne.
So Mayor Coon should appreciate that across Conroe, folks are outraged on social media. A ridiculous debacle, they call it, because of this. Unprecedented raises being doled out to certain city officials. The Public Works Director, Norman McGuire, now makes $300,000 a year. And City Administrator Gary Scott, $365,000. Assistant City Administrator Nancy McKeska, boy, she must be valuable. She's paid $330,000 a year. Who do you know that got a $100,000 raise this year? In a town where the average taxpayer makes about $70,000 a year, a town deeply in debt. And to make it worse, the city fought us for weeks trying to keep it all a secret.
Mayor, why don't you think the people of Conroe deserve a couple of seconds to explain why these people deserve all this money?
Wayne, I want you to have a good night. I'm not giving you an interview. We've released a press release.
The press release from Duke justified it all by saying they're lawyers. Who cares? What the F is going on with Conroe this taxpayer wrote? And that was before we learned that Conroe taxpayers have another $1.5 million debacle on their hands. That's how much it cost to pay off the longtime city employees who unceremoniously got the boot. City Council did throw a nice send-off, but this was forced retirement. The police chief, the fire chief, both at the same time. The Parks Director and the head of the Conroe Economic Development Council.
You're finding some of the most incredible people that have been with the city for over 30 years, have done great jobs.
The mayor told citizens it was all done without his knowledge.
I sat here and told you I'd be honest, open, and transparent, and I'm going to be just that. Your mayor didn't know this was happening.
Raising the specter of possible illegal meetings by council members to plan the city hall slaughter.
You don't believe it.
I do not believe that, and I've told him so personally. He and I used to be best friends, but we are no more.
And Conroe taxpayers have been kept in the dark about something else. The cost of this forced exodus until now.
Wayne, you're a hired gun for someone, and listen, you do the work that you need to do.
Okay, I will. After threatening legal action to force City Hall to come clean, we learned Conroe EDC boss Danielle Shiner, who officially resigned, was paid $251,000, $250,000 to do it. The Parks Director paid another $287,000. But it was the longtime serving protectors of Conroe that got the biggest taxpayer payouts. The Fire Chief, $355,000. Police Chief Christie, $412,000.
You got a second to step out before you eat?
I don't. We're right in the middle of dinner.
After ignoring my calls, I went to Conroe's election night watch party because I knew the mayor was a host. But you could see this guy was trying to block our camera. I learned he's a former radio reporter who proceeded to lecture me for picking on the mayor.
When I was a reporter, I never shoved a microphone in somebody's face like that.
Did I shove a microphone in his face?
I saw the microphone approach his face.
I also learned his name was John Sellers, one of the new appointees to the powerful Conroe Industrial Development Corporation. They're the folks who are being asked to pay for 2 new desperately needed water wells. You see, water, or the lack of it, may be Conroe's biggest problem.
We'd love for you to join us for dinner if you'd like.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's the lack of water that caused the city in August to issue a 120-day moratorium on development in lots of the town. It ends right after Christmas. Conroe residents have restrictions on when they can even water their lawn. The city was warned publicly about the water problems early this year from the city engineer Chris Bogert. Conroe, he said, was using 96% of its water supply. That's dangerous.
I have some pretty serious concerns about our water quantity. We have pressure issues.
What did the city do?
They terminated me. I really don't want to be involved with them.
The water pressure problems aren't just inconvenient, they're dangerous too.
Is water pressure so bad in some areas where firefighters would have a hard time put out a house fire?
Yeah, the water pressure is so bad in some areas that it doesn't meet the TCQ regulations.
We looked at the water pressure readings around town. A residential neighborhood right behind Candy Cane Park. A fire hydrant there had 3 times below the state required minimum water pressure.
We do have other partners out here in the community, that are that provide water sources. So behind the scenes, we're working with them.
And that's why John Seller's day job is kind of important here.
I've got a very lengthy contract with my current employer, and he is very gracious to allow me to volunteer time, though. And so that's the capacity where I feel like I would be most useful to the city.
You know what, dude? You started to piss me off, so shut up.
Sellers is the chief financial officer of the Stecker Corporation. His boss, Michael Stecker, he's a big developer and is in the water business.
There's always 2 questions, and y'all know this. What is the problem and how do you solve it?
Stecker also is a guy who helped bankroll the political campaigns of these folks, the mayor of Conroe and members of city council. So let's follow the money, shall we? And make a splash. In the last 2 Conroe city elections, Stecker has doled out $34,000. All his chosen candidates now sit here. He was Mayor Coon's biggest single contributor.
We've got to move forward now and fix what's wrong.
We're not done. In 2022, a political action committee called Conroe Freedom SPAC was formed. And they said why they were formed in black and white: to support Harry Hardman, Howard Wood, and Marsha Porter for Conroe City Council. Guess who bankrolled that political action committee? Michael Stecker, another 25 grand. And most of the rest of that PAC's money came from a company called Quadvest, another 25 grand. Guess what they do? They run a water company. The owner is the Secrecy family, but they don't care about profit. They care about you.
As a private water company, it's not necessarily about what's good for us. It's about what's good for the community. It merely makes no difference to us.
The money tap opened up in this year's Conroe election too. This time a different political action committee, MoCo Influence PAC. At least their name is honest.
Faith, leadership, conservative values, and sense of community start right here in Conroe.
MoCo PAC spent $21,215 on digital ads for Mayor Coon's campaign. And who bankrolls MoCo Influence PAC? A developer named Tom Martin. And Michael Stecker again. The Secrecy family, and there's Quadvest again. Wonder why they're so invested in Conroe City Hall. Maybe it's just good government. Quadvest joined the city of Conroe in a lawsuit against the San Jacinto River Authority years ago over how much water rates should be. The lawsuits dragged on for 8 years. The legal bills are now $1 million, and that may be money down the drain. Who else complained about water rates? Woodland Oaks Utility. That's Michael Stecker's company. Coon was lucky to get his ads paid for by the water company folks, because along with Shanna Arthur, he was busy spending money in another lawsuit against Conroe's longtime city secretary. They claim she wrongly notarized ballot applications that allowed Todd Yancey and a city council candidate named Kurt Maddox on the ballot by mistake. They lost that legal fight, but once Coon and Arthur got in, guess what happened to the city secretary? She got fired, and she's now suing.
I believe that the new administration realized she wasn't going to do what they told her to do, and so they decided to get rid of her.
And Conroe taxpayers may end up paying a hefty price for that Coon act.
They destroyed my reputation. They destroyed my life for doing my job.
They're hurting a lot of people, and it has to stop.
Here with my good friend Todd Yancey.
Todd Yancey may have lost the mayor's race to Coon, but he's now speaking out after watching the unfolding debacle in Conroe government.
Look what's happening there. It's not working in Little Conroe. This team up there is falling apart, and it's falling apart from the first week.
I want them to know that I didn't do anything wrong. The people that did this to me, I would like a public apology.
I think it was handled as bad as it could be. I mean, there cannot be a better loyal person for the city of Conroe.
They promise transparency and honesty and truthfulness, but I don't see it happening at the city right now.
Jim Gentry has sent letters to Mayor Coon that are no longer being answered. We've read them. He quotes the Bible.
The Bible says the truth will set you free, but lies will imprison you.
Cease and desist. Why did you run off these employees, Mayor? Well, I'm going to wait till you finish, and then I'm going to ask some more questions. I'm not going to cease and desist.